In last year's Hawktober special, I finally got the opportunity to rip into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, the bastardization of this series only created as one final cash-in before the licensing deal between the Birdman and Activision ended, making this the final nail in the coffin. However, with this contract expired, Tony was finally free of Activision's shackles and went straight to working on a brand new skateboarding game. And despite the immediate criticism he was met with, announcing that his new game would be a goddamn phone app, Tony Hawk's Skate Jam launched just weeks after the 2018 Hawktober special. Holy shit. We're not talking about retro games or systems or outdated mobile phone technology anymore. We're talking about a new Tony Hawk game. Obviously I was pumped when this launched last year. I downloaded it day one and I played it. And then I just kind of stopped playing and uninstalled it for no other reason than I just wasn't interested. But now it's finally time to give it a proper look. Let's check out Tony Hawk's Skate Jam. The game begins with a basic tutorial playing as Little Kid Hawk and getting a feel for the control. Now, I was a little thrown off by this at first because the tutorial is over in less than 2 minutes. Like I mentioned, I had played this game back when it first launched, and I recall the tutorial went on and on, was incredibly finicky with certain aspects, and really turned me off playing once I actually got to begin. So I must say, good job stripping this back to the basics so we can jump straight in. As you can see, we get bombarded with information pop-ups right out of the gate. Our first course is the Bay in San Francisco, and we've got a list of classic objectives to complete. So, what are we waiting for? As you can see, the game looks okay. We steer around using our thumb on the left side of the screen and press the buttons on the right to ollie and perform tricks. It all works okay, but I feel a bit short-handed from that tutorial. How do I do manuals for linking tricks? How do I balance correctly? It's good that the tutorial isn't half an hour long, but now it doesn't even include much of the information you need to know in order to successfully play the game. There is a trick list tucked away in the pause menus, but it would have been nice to know before I started playing. Here I was thinking I had to tilt the phone in order to balance, but no, you just use the stick thingy. I guess playing Tony Hawk's Motion on DS has left me with permanent brain damage. But if the game had told me in the first place, there wouldn't have been a problem. Anyway, this map is actually quite massive with long hills, a huge plaza, big empty streets, a barren wharf area, and this little warehouse skate park tucked away at the bottom. Beautiful. First session of the game and my skater freaked out and fell through the floor. At the end of a run, you're forced to sit through an advertisement for some shitty app. Then we get a breakdown of the rewards. You earn cash and gold coins which serve as virtual currency, with the latter being much rarer, as well as fans for completing objectives. Your progression through the game is determined by how many overall fans you can earn. Kind of like YouTube actually. Don't forget to subscribe and share Tony Hawktober with all of your friends. But look here, you can get multipliers on all of these rewards if you're willing to sit through another shitty advertisement. That's the problem with a lot of these free apps, is that they make their money through paid services and constantly spamming you with bullshit you don't want to see. So that's really what you do here. Complete objectives across different locations, earn rewards and level up, and sit through a whole bunch of advertising. Honestly, it's not bad at all and can be a lot of fun. This mission format always worked incredibly well, I thought. While the control and physics are not the greatest, it is playable and features a good soundtrack to listen to while you skate. Filling up and using your special meter works differently in this game, actually transforming you into Tony Hawk for a brief moment and upgrading all of your stats for that time. That's a bit weird though, right? Or is it just me? In all of the other games, we got to be special and do the cool tricks, but this is basically telling us that, no, Tony is special and you're not. And to be honest, they've got a point. Look at this character. I didn't make him, he's just the default guy. There is no customization, only other pre-made skaters with a few alternate outfits that we not only have to unlock, but also purchase with our rare currencies. So fuck that. Make fun of my default skin all you want, because I'll be laughing all the way to the bank with all of the money I didn't spend on pointless cosmetics. And beyond the main progression tree, there is also an online leaderboard and skate jam events which allow you to level up, earn some rewards of in-game items, and occasionally, even real-world prizes. But entering these costs you in-game currency as well, and even real currency if you sign up for the Unlimited Access Pass for $11 per month. Oh man, that hurts. So, while we're on the topic, let's take a look and see how the marketplace in this game works, given it's always a popular topic for mobile apps. Well, I'm afraid to say that this is one of the worst stores I've ever seen. For starters, like I mentioned, any and all cosmetic content is locked behind virtual paywalls, which includes the different skate decks. One thing of note is that this game has 3 different types of skateboards, for the street, park and vert styles. Matching the board type with the level grants you a bonus, and each level in the game also features an objective that can only be completed with the correct board type. But of course, you only start with one of these types, so already you need to think about purchasing stuff. I'm going for the cheapest options, which are also the shittiest, just so that I can get things done. Of course, the good items that are fit for all 3 skating styles are way above your standard earning rate and are sometimes just straight up locked behind a real paywall. $15? $30? Almost $50 for a fully jacked board and some booster items? Or how about $55 for only this skateboard without anything else? That is insane! And remember, this is all on top of that $11 per month for unlimited access to skate jam events. But I swear, the grossest of these has to be the Pro Pack. Unlock all of the levels, remove all of the annoying advertisements, and play as Tony Hawk. $15 to play as Tony Hawk in this Tony Hawk game. Okay, well here's an idea. How about he fucks off for free instead, and we just try to ignore all this shit and just focus on the game from now on. Before I get real bloody pissed. Once you reach a certain number of fans, you're eligible to enter a competition in that area. Win this and you unlock the next set of levels. Standard stuff, and surprisingly, progression is actually not the worst thing ever, and is totally doable with some patience and skill, without the need for submitting to these predatory pay-to-win schemes. So even though it is here and is a major problem, at least we're not totally stranded and can actually see quite a lot of the game. Every single map is absolutely massive. Some of them can be quite decent, while others are quite maze-like and oftentimes just incredibly empty. Look at this, there is nothing here, and this is a map where we only get a 1-minute time limit to complete our objectives and have to pick up additional time along the way. For some fuck-all reason I can't understand, we cannot continue our combos beyond the timer running out. Really? That's the main appeal of getting good at the old Pro Skater games and getting to keep playing for as long as you're good for. But not here. What a shame. Honestly though, you probably wouldn't want to play any longer than necessary with some of these maps, because each area has one that is just really bad. The campus map, for example, has zero design with just shit everywhere and no real flow. Others have just nothing going on at all, so while we do have some acceptable areas, most of it is mediocre and, at its worst, just unbearable. Yeah, good idea. Let's get the hell out of here because this level sucks. These locations aren't made any better with the control either. Now I'll repeat myself, it's fine and it works. Playing on a phone can feel quite cramped at times and it's very easy to accidentally press the wrong buttons, but for the most part, nothing is incredibly broken about it. But everything I just said is so inconsistent across the game. When it works fine, Skate Jam can be a lot of fun. But then this sort of shit starts happening and you totally lose control of the game. I'm not trying to be shit just for laughs here, this is all real. Look at how bad this is. It's like the game does whatever it feels like half the time. You also happen to bounce off everything you touch as well, which certainly doesn't help. What was that? Is he a spring or something? It's funny because you can actually use this rubber band mechanic to your advantage and keep high combos going by bouncing back into more tricks. But again, it can be incredibly inconsistent. Oh look, I tried to grab this item again and again like a total failure, only to bail at the last second and get launched up into the fucking thing. I guess that's just the only way to do it. That's probably the biggest issue here, is inconsistency across the board, no pun intended. Which sucks because it can be a lot of fun, but oftentimes is merely boring or actually incredibly frustrating. But where I draw the line with my tolerance of bullshit is the third area. From now on, not only are you forced to watch ads after every session, but you also have to watch them before every session, which totally disrupts the flow of the game. That is just unfucking acceptable. Jesus Christ, you people call this a video game? Looks like my dog's asshole. Oh, hey guys, check out this really cool new game that's on the App Store right now. Tony Hawktober merch matchup. You've got t-shirts and hoodies to match, and by collecting the early access Patreon badge, it makes everything 10% off. How cool is that? Hey, you're not thinking about skipping this, are you? Oh, please don't skip. Come on, I need this. Could you imagine having to sit through an ad every single time I appeared on the screen? My god, does that get really annoying really quickly? But that's how they make their money, right? Download our free app and put up with this shit. Oh, okay, thank God you're back. Alright, when you buy some merch, you'll get 100 bonus coins that you can spend in the game. How cool is that? It's like a virtual currency we've got going on here. You can spend the coins on boosters like subscribe buttons and notification bells, which will help you get through this game because, I mean, let's be honest, it's designed to fuck you in the ass. Or, if you like to be an annoying cunt, then you can share this with all of your friends on Facebook and invite them to come and get fucked in the ass with you. How fun is that? No, don't leave me again. Just please, buy the merch. Honestly, it's almost impossible not to click on these links and just accept your fate because of how much they bombard you. But the worst part about this, sometimes these ads glitch the sound so that when you can finally start playing, it's in total silence. What a total fuck up! The only way to get it back is to either wait and hope for another ad that resets this, or just refreshing the entire game and hoping it doesn't happen again, which it almost does every time. They really want you to pay for that Pro Pass and remove the ads to unlock everything for $15, don't they? But the cheeky fuckers don't even lower the price based on how much of the game you've already unlocked. Look, I'm only missing the final area since I hit a brick wall with progression, but to remove the ads and unlock everything is still the same price. Man, Maybe they are actually onto something with this. Playing all of these ads frustrates you to a point where you'd actually consider paying real money just to supplement the revenue they'd lose if all of the ads were removed. And of course, this is the part where I mentioned that you can get early access to ad-free Square Eye Jack episodes by pledging $5 per month on Patreon. Hey, don't skip me! You can't skip me! This is my video! Hey, on the plus side, at least you don't have to pay real money to unlock the free skate mode, you just have to unlock it like normal. Wait a minute, who ever heard of having to unlock the free play mode? Completing every goal in a level grants you access to free skate there, which sounds backwards and excessive, and is made even worse by the fact that who would want to explore these dull levels after doing all of this shit? But listen, there is a big elephant in the room that we just can't ignore any longer. Maple Media. This is the team that developed and published Skate Jam. They've made a name for themselves gobbling up apps made by other teams such as Rat Rod Studios, who were known for their extreme sports titles, namely the Skateboard Party series, with its first of 3 games releasing in late 2011 and featuring Mike V as its flagship skater. So, let's see how it compares. We get a few different variations of Mike V to choose from and a selection of shoes and decks, giving us a little bit of customization flexibility here. But how is it to play? Well, you could argue that it is somewhat similar to Skate Jam, in the sense of, this is fucking Skate Jam! I mean, look at it. Same layout for the heads-up display and control, same mission structure, and I know what you're thinking, it's obviously unfair to go backwards and criticise an earlier title, given that we've seen an improved version much later down the line, and I agree, that's not why we're here. Look where we are. This is the same level we saw in Skate Jam, just with a few less obstacles. They recycled an old level from their Mike V game to use in the Tony Hawk edition. That's a bit cheap, don't you think? And look at some of these other levels. What the hell is this? Oh, the motel? That level where I glitched out of the map in Skate Jam? And what about this junkyard level? Man, I actually hated playing this one because it's so wide with limited terrain. But I just can't believe that they've repurposed these old maps. Skate Jam has zero reference to this Skateboard Party game, so it's almost like they were hoping people wouldn't notice. Anyway, as for the game itself, yeah, it really is just the same thing. It's plagued with all of the same control flaws and even the audio glitch when playing ads. But this one in particular is so woeful and stiff, it's actually unplayable to an extent because you can't get any speed, you can't get height on jumps, and so you can barely complete any of the objectives. It's complete and utter shovelware. But that's what you get when you go backwards. So let's go forwards and take a look at Skateboard Party 2, which released in 2013. Now remember, this series was developed by Rat Rod Studios before it was later purchased by Maple Media, who did Skate Jam. But wow, look at this! We actually get a hyped up montage intro. That's what these games need. Why is it such a taboo concept? Anyway, there are no big names attached to this one, so we're left to the generic skaters, many of which also appeared in the previous game. But now we're limited to playing as some old guy? Sure, whatever. Playing this is actually much more refined, with far less obtrusive ads and much slicker control, making it significantly easier to jump in and start making progress, which is awesome. On to the next level, and fuck! It's the army base we got in Skate Jam, with the only difference being that rubber band exploit just doesn't work. But really? They took levels from both games? I mean, the heads-up display is one thing, they didn't even try to do anything different there, but the levels? A video game is defined with its unique locations, and sure, we do see familiar territory from time to time, but never from a totally different series developed by a totally different group. And see, here we have the campus level that's terrible, and right after this is the boardwalk map with the broken physics all over the place, followed with the big empty street map. This is not just a few references to another series or some cameos, this is literally just taking a game and dumping it into another one. Finally, we've got Skateboard Party 3 from 2016, featuring Greg Lutzka, and holy fuck, it's all the same shitty characters from the previous games that also appear in the Tony Hawk game behind ridiculous paywalls. And as for the levels, well, they're all here. All of them! The beach, the skate park, Chinatown, San Francisco, the drainage ditch, and the Space Museum. What a fucking disgrace! Not for Skateboard Party, no. In fact, this one is the most refined of them all. I'm disgusted at the thought that every single level in Skate Jam has just been recycled from a totally different series that was acquired by Maple Media and then repackaged and resold as a totally new game. How much more fucking gross can you get? This is everything those other three games had to offer. Could you imagine being a big fan of the Skateboard Party games? Maybe even to a point where you've dropped some real money to unlock characters and outfits and access to all of the levels, then going and downloading Skate Jam just to find all of that content locked back behind a much more aggressive pay system. That is so unbelievable to me. Only more unbelievable is Tony Hawk gladly putting his name on this thing, given that it's not even his game. I can only imagine that he was simply misinformed or uneducated on the topic. But I would have thought that after all of these years of criticism for having his name slapped onto these terrible abominations, that he would have learned his lesson enough and would regain some integrity to not even go near them in the first place. But it's starting to look like I've put all of my faith in the wrong person. Knowing everything we know, where does that leave Skate Jam in the end? Despite everything, it is still very clearly the strongest of all of these games as far as control and gameplay quality, definitely for presentation, and the additional leaderboards and online competition elements really do complete it. But that doesn't stop it being plagued with inconsistent quality across all of those areas, especially in the gameplay department. And I will not excuse the horrendously predatory marketplace mechanics, or the fact that this is literally ripped off from 3 other games and delivered as a new product with zero responsibility. The Skateboard Party compilation gets 3 out of 10. It's difficult, it really is. Skate Jam does at times offer an incredibly strong mobile skating game, but its shady practices and sheer lack of integrity or polish have ultimately burned Tony Hawk's video game reputation far beyond the likes of Pro Skater 5 for me. How disappointing. Hopefully if we see Tony Hawk in future skateboarding games, it will simply be as a guest within a real game that stays away from all of these terrible practices, because I'm afraid to say, the Birdman has burned us all one too many times. But, at the same time, we're finished. We have looked at every single Tony Hawk game that anyone could possibly look at. And yet, there is still one more day of Tony Hawktober 2019 left to get through. What could it possibly be? Well, you'll just have to wait for tomorrow and find out. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. I'm Square Eye Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.